Hi, it's Paul from Wolf Software Systems with our WolfStack platform. And for those of you who don't know what WolfStack is and was watching a cat video and somehow you ended up on this page, WolfStack is a server management tool, and it was born out of my frustration with having to have lots of different tools to manage all my servers. I have to go to different control panels and different places, like having a Grafana and Proxmox and all these other things just to manage clusters and not being able to see everything in one place. And that's where this, for instance, is actually 5 clusters of servers, 17 clusters in all. 17 nodes, and each node is a server. So I've got 3 Proxmox clusters, and you can install WolfStack on top of Proxmox. Proxmox doesn't care. WolfStack comes with WolfNet, which is a Mesh 6 network that auto configures, so you don't have to create a software-defined network like you would with Proxmox. You can just use WolfNet. It's really, really low processor usage after we discovered an interesting bug with IPv6. Our latest addition is something called WolfCube, which is a management system for Kubernetes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down to this cluster here, which is just a couple of machines in it. Cynthia and Sophie, bless them. And I'm going to go to WolfCube, and I'm going to deploy a Kubernetes cluster. Okay, now you will notice the lack of use of YAML. Here we go. So I'm going to provision the cluster. I'm going to use K3S. I could use any of these, but I'm going to use K3S, and I'm going to choose to have a server node on Cynthia and a worker node on Sophie. Okay, obviously, if you've got more servers in the cluster, you get more in the list. So I'm going to go provision cluster, and then you'll see what happens with all installations on WolfStack. You'll see that you get a terminal, and it'll actually show you what it's doing on that server. So at the moment, it's just starting K3S now. So now it's created the main one. It's now installing a worker, as we've asked it to do. You'll see it just installing the worker. It's pretty cool. It's watching it do, but you'll see the same thing when I'll actually deploy something to the cluster a little bit later. So it's just waiting for it to start up. I have been testing on this one, so you see it does say things already exist, and that's just because basically I did do that. We have done it earlier on. In fact, it might be, and there might be a leftover K3 agent in there. So I'm going to just close that. Oh no, there it goes. Waiting for agents K3S to register. Now it's talking to the main node. So they're obviously on 2 different, and then it says it's fixed. So obviously if you ask for more nodes, you get more of those screens to watch. So once that's done, now we go back to the WolfCube, and then you can see we've got 2 nodes. So we've just got a Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and if I click on it, you can see it's healthy. We can look at nodes. There's the 2 nodes with a control plane. Here's the namespaces. These are the deployments. Now these are actually what comes with, got traffic on there, but basically this is what comes with K3S. You can see all the pods. These 2 are coming online, so they'll come online in a second. Services, obviously we've got services. We can define our storage. At the moment and it's got some instructions on how to do that. I don't want to worry too much about that. Now WolfNet, of course, is deployed. It's deployed on top of WolfNet. If you've got an existing Kubernetes cluster, you can just import it using this import cluster thing at the top. So it actually tells you what's going on, and you can see that's already set up a cluster node called 10.10.10.3, and that's a WolfNet node. So that means that Cynthia and Sophie not on WolfNet, but then that's fine because they do have WolfNet IPs. And of course, we can see some deployments to assign piece to, but I'm not going to do that because they're system deployments. They don't actually need it. Let's go to our app store. For those of you that don't know, you'll know pictures of cats, but we do have this app store. And what we've done is we've collected together, we've made quite a big collection now. It's categorized, or you could search like monitoring, database, web, media. Well, in fact, I'm going to do Jellyfin, I think. Yeah, let's do Jellyfin. Okay, so to install it onto my Kubernetes cluster, now you see it says Docker there. That's because we're not on a KAS. So here's the Kubernetes cluster. You see it says KAS. And I'm going to use the default storage because actually and then I'm going to choose WolfCube, and I'm going to say, how many do I want? Let's have just 2 because we've got 2 nodes. Default namespace, let's call it, we'll leave it in default namespace. Leave everything as it is. And it's picked up all the details. So I'm just going to install that now. Now you click installed. Okay, so it's deployed, is created. Now if I go back to my WolfStack cluster, which is down here somewhere. Oh, there we are. Okay, so I go to WolfCube, and we're going to manage. Okay, and if we look at deployments, we should be able to see the Jellyfin. There it is. There's the Jellyfin deployment, and you can scale it manage it. So go to manage. Okay, and it actually shows you there's a WolfNet IP has been attached to it on 10.10.10.6. There's all the details of it. I go to one of the servers. So actually we're going at server level, and let's go to, we're on, I'll put the right server, it's been a long day. Let's go to Surfing, and you can see the WolfCube screen. Now this is actually a list of all the pods. Now here we should be able to see Jellyfin. There it is. That's automatically deployed, so no restarts. Now I can actually better click on this, and you can look at the logs. It's very interesting. Now if I go and have a look at the other thing, I'm going to just dive back to here, manage. I'm going to show you something. It's just I couldn't remember where I put it. Just a few hours of coding ago. Manage pods. There you go. Okay, so yes, what you can do if I go to pods, sorry, it's catching up. If I go to pods, we can click on console and actually log straight into that container without any trouble at all. Sorry about this little thing. This is a Loom which I used to do it. So I can log into this container. So you can actually manage your Kubernetes cluster. And so what you've just watched is I've done before manually with YAML files, and I've got to say it's quite painful. Now it's there, and if you want to kill it off, you can just do remove here and then go through and remove the pods. But that just gives you an extra thing. Of course, everything else still works, so you can run LXC containers. We've got one there running Alma Linux. It's an LXC container. We've got Docker, standard Docker, so you don't actually have to run it under Kubernetes. These are standard Docker containers. And I think what you'll find is actually, yeah, you see these are WolfRun. So WolfRun was another thing we built. If you didn't want to use Kubernetes, you can use WolfRun to actually deploy a scalable Docker container instancy type thing. And there is another video and some details of it. So there's a lot here. Obviously, we have got masses and masses, and we keep expanding things, making them better as we go along. So I hope that's helpful. If you want to install WolfStack, all you have to do is go to, Instagram, wolfstack.org. Okay, and just scroll down the page. There's a big menu here with loads of documentation and products and stuff like that. Just scroll down here, grab this and run it. We're running it on Raspberry Pi. We're running it on lots of different things. And the goal is to make it so you can run it on your fridge if you wanted to. So if you can find some computing resource somewhere, we want to be able to run WolfStack on it and make clusters out of it. As I said before, if you want to install it directly on Proxmox, you can just install it on the Proxmox nodes, follow the instructions. It'll work with Proxmox. And then you still get all the benefits of WolfStack, but staying on Proxmox. So we're continually expanding it. Please join our Discord, follow us on Reddit, visit our YouTube, which you probably have done now. I hope you do find more cat videos. But until then, thanks very much.